Brad Pitt is a race car driver in the new movie F1, which is sure to be the highest grossing movie of the summer that shares its name with the computer key. This video is brought to you by Mando. Go to shopmando.com and use promo code Dan for a special offer, and stay tuned after the video for more info. Hello everybody, I'm Dan Murrell here with my review of F1, or as it's being marketed, F1 the movie, which is the latest film from director Joseph Kosinski. It's also his first theatrical film since Top Gun Maverick, and I'm happy to report that this movie brings the same spectacle and commitment to big screen thrills as that film. It's also helpful that key collaborators like cinematographer Claudio Miranda and composer Hans Zimmer have also teamed with Kosinski for this movie. Brad Pitt stars as Sonny Hayes, a nomadic race car driver who had a spectacular but short career in Formula One or F1 racing when his old friend Ruben, played by Javier Bardem, recruits Sonny to join his struggling F1 team. Sonny can't resist and fights to save the team from being sold. The team also includes a hotshot rookie named Joshua Pierce, played by Damson Idris, and a technician with something to prove, played by Kerry Condon. F1 is one of the last super budget films from Apple Original Films in this first phase of their life as a production company. They're also teaming up with Warner Brothers for distribution on the movie. And the good news is that the movie's budget is on screen. Yes, it is a top-tier cast, but the production is really the star here. F1 is shot entirely in IMAX, and the racing scenes, of which there are many, are brilliantly shot and edited, putting us as viewers in the driver's seat. Formula One racing is much more popular in other parts of the world than it is here in the US, and I'm not really a racing fan in general, but I found the racing in this movie exhilarating, including all the different strategies that Sonny brings to the table to help get his team out of the F1 basement. It is top-tier filmmaking that is structured, unfortunately, around a screenplay that is not as elite. The writer of this movie is Aaron Kruger, who was a co-writer on Top Gun Maverick, but as a solo writer brought us this movie as well as other films like 2019's Dumbo and one of my least favorite films of all time, Transformers: Age of Extinction. The screenplay for F1 isn't nearly as bad as the one for Age of Extinction. It'd be pretty hard to do that. But it is packed with almost every single cliche that you could possibly imagine. If you've ever seen a movie about a rough and tumble veteran coming in to help a struggling team and having to make an alliance with a younger hotshot, then you know every single beat in this movie. At times, I was quoting lines of dialogue before they were even said. And I get it with storytelling, there are certain templates that you're going to use over and over again. That's nothing new. It's hard to find a purely original story in any kind of media right now. But the dialogue in the film is what bothered me the most, because there's no way that you as a professional writer can write some of the lines in this movie without knowing for a fact that they have been used in hundreds of movies before. It's the laziest possible option, and I wish that the writing in this movie was as ambitious as the filmmaking, but that's also the salvation of F1. You have a director and so many other technicians behind the film that are committed to giving you something much newer than the script gives you, and you have a cast, a very talented cast, that's able to elevate what they're given on the page. Brad Pitt gives what I like to call a movie star performance. With little help from the script, Sonny's main character trait is being Brad Pitt, and he leans into every Brad Pitt-ism that's made him, well, Brad Pitt. There is a glimmer of humanity in his actual character that comes through at the end, but the script could have used a lot more of that. Damson Idris gives everything he has to his role as the younger race car driver, but that mostly consists of calling Brad Pitt an old man and then begrudgingly learning the life lessons that his youth has kept him from learning. And Kerry Condon and Javier Bardem are also doing everything they can in very, very cliched roles. It feels like this movie was consciously cast with actors who could actually breathe new life into these archetypes, and is a very valiant and sometimes successful effort. But I am also very aware that a large chunk of the audience is going to be buying their ticket not because they want to see vibrant, fresh, original characters or a groundbreaking or at least, I don't know, interesting screenplay. They are coming for the racing. And in that regard, F1 unequivocally delivers. I am a big advocate on this channel of the theatrical experience, and I almost always encourage people to go see movies in theaters. And the response that I get often is that, well, you know what? I have a great entertainment system at home. I'm not going to pay the money to go to a theater and have to worry about crowd behavior, etc., because watching it at home is just as good as watching it in a theater. And sometimes, to be honest, that's probably true. But unless you have a movie screen and an IMAX sound system at home, then the experience of watching F1 with even the best home entertainment systems is not going to match what it's like to watch this movie in a theater. The IMAX photography is immersive, the sound is thundering, and F1 is every inch the big screen spectacle that theater owners probably wish every movie was. Any of my criticisms about the script fell away when the action started to kick in, and Claudio Miranda, once again, does a spectacular job of getting his cameras right in the action in a fresh and innovative way. This is also the second great see-it-in-a-theater movie from Joseph Kosinski, and I would like to peek into that alternate reality where Tom Cruise decided to work with Kosinski more instead of Christopher McQuarrie, because I could see him in the lead role of this movie where he's sort of bookending his career thus far with F1 after doing the NASCAR movie Days of Thunder much earlier in his career. F1 is great visual stimulation, if not intellectual stimulation, and it's as close as I'll ever be to saying, turn off your brain and enjoy it. Now, I can never actually bring myself to say that, so instead I'll say that it's a great experience that doesn't actually insult your intelligence. But it does have flaws that extend beyond the screenplay. At 2.5 hours, F1 is too long. It easily could have been 20 minutes shorter because it not only hits a lot of story beats that you've seen in movies like this, it hits every single one of them. And I think that you could have trimmed that down somewhat in order to get it to a more manageable length. But at the same time, it is a movie that, no pun intended, flies by. It didn't feel its length while I was watching it, which is a good thing. And the story beats that it taps into, as cliches they are proven winners. The underdog story, the redemption story, the little guys proving themselves to the big guys. We are hardwired as people to get involved with stories like these, and the cast is able to do enough to get us involved. At least they did enough for me. With less spectacular racing, this movie would have failed. It would have been indistinguishable from a film like Gran Turismo, which came out a couple years ago and nobody really cared about. With a less talented cast, I also think this movie would have failed because it could not have kept the film afloat between the great racing sequences. But F1 doesn't fail because the parts that do work are able to shore up the parts that don't work. And this movie is a great example of how ambitious filmmaking and smart casting can make up for a lackluster script. So while I did enjoy F1 overall, I kind of mourn for the great movie that we could have had with just a little bit more effort on the page. F1 is classic summer filmmaking in both good and bad ways, and I'm curious to see how it performs. It's just great enough on the big screen that I could see it being a breakout hit, but just unexceptional enough otherwise that I could see audiences shrugging. But I'm giving it an it's good rating on my personal scale, with the recommendation that you find it on the biggest, loudest screen that you possibly can. F1 opens here in the United States on Friday, June 27th. That's next week. But in many international markets, it opens earlier. So you might want to check your movie times to see when you can actually go to check it out in theaters. But what do you think? Are you going to be heading out to see it? Let me know down in the comments below. And before we go, I want to thank the sponsor for this video, Mando. Have you ever sweat all the way through your shirt? It happens to me every summer here in the Arkansas humidity, and if it happens to you too, you know how much it sucks. You either have to change, stay wet and hot outside, or stay wet and cold inside until you dry off. Luckily, Mando has introduced something new to help make sure that that doesn't happen to you this summer, the Mando Deodorant Plus Sweat Control Solid Stick. I've been using Mando as a deodorant for a while, but now it's even better because it makes summer more bearable. Not only can Mando keep you smelling great, but after just 12 hours, Mando Sweat Control reduces sweat by 92%. And when it comes to smelling good, Mando isn't about masking odor, it prevents it. 100% of participants in a Mando study experienced all-day odor protection, which, if I'm getting my math right, means everybody. And summer is the best time to give Mando a try. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like a mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for fans of the show, new customers get 20% off site-wide with my exclusive code. Use code DAN at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. That's shopmando.com. Please support the show and tell them that I sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control, so you can say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness. Thanks to Mando for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching. Be sure to stay tuned right here for the latest movie news, reviews, box office, and more. I should have my review of 28 Years Later tomorrow afternoon right here on the channel. I'm really looking forward to seeing that movie. Until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.